Hello and welcome to Outside Xbox, where you're watching Show of the Week. I'm Jane.
And I'm Mike. This week I've been watching and re-watching the Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay reveal trailer.
Yeah, it's impressive, right?
Uh-huh.
Ought to work like a charm. Now draw your weapon. You should see your ammo count in a brand new sight.
Although it did make me sad that we don't yet have those cybernetic implants in the here and now.
Well, not with that attitude, Jane. That's why I've taken matters into my own hand.
What's wrong with your hand?
USB sticks. I can interface with computers.
I guess that's technically true.
Yeah, that's not all.
Is it not?
No, I also swallowed a bunch of USB sticks.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm a real-life cyborg now, with none of the drawbacks that are the hallmarks of cyberpunk fiction.
Until you need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, damn this dystopian techno-future.
Mike, being a cool, futuristic cyberpunk isn't just about grafting USB sticks to yourself.
Of course, there's also the cool trench coats you have to wear.
Did you really watch the gameplay demo?
Right, yeah, that.
And what a gameplay demo it was!
Yeah.
Hey, sup, V? Look, I need to talk to you. Got news as big as my balls.
And I got a hot date with my Ripper Duck.
I had the same thing with GTA 5, and I think it's like a hallmark of these games that are in development for years and years and years. It feels so detailed, it's almost impossible to conceive that it was built by humans. Do you know what I mean? The level of detail is so ridiculous.
Well, like it was made by an advanced future race of aliens.
Yeah, we're like the Matrix is happening or something, or some kind of divine intelligence or something built this thing. It's so detailed. I mean, you just look at the bit where
Like if a caveman saw the Sistine Chapel.
That's how, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah, I am that caveman.
Buckle up. Shit's happening.
What's up, Jack?
I could not get over the amount of detail in the world, the sort of number of little nods and things to cyberpunk fiction, and also the amount of writing. You know, there's just so much dialogue.
Yo, Miss V, a pleasure.
It's dense.
Phenomenal, yeah.
Dense
really,
and
really
rich,
dense.
like a chocolate cake.
Stout here. Hi. Heard you were looking for some tech. Let's talk.
I'm super excited for it. I mean, like, I enjoyed The Witcher 3, but fantasy is not really my
Not your
genre.
thing.
And also FPS, right? So having that sort of Deus Ex style FPS RPG is super exciting as well. The number of abilities is really so far removed from this sort of average like RPG ability stuff, like, I don't know, slightly bigger sword or whatever. It's real sort of built into the fiction, the kind of things you can unlock.
Do you want claw mantis arms so you can scale walls and
Yeah,
sort of
right.
drop on enemies from above?
Absolutely.
From a sheer wall.
What I really like about it is it's something I read in an interview, actually, I think it was with Eurogamer, is that you can even play as a sort of net runner. So these characters that are really, there's one in the demo, he's part of the gang that you go and barter with.
Looking to buy a bot. Model MTO D12. Looks like a spider.
Couch planted.
And he's there sort of sitting there hooked up to the internet, basically. The class system's like totally flexible, and you can be a net runner if you want. And
Can you play the entire game just from a lounge chair?
I don't think you can quite go that far, but really, they were like, there's got to be combat options for these guys, and it will be genuinely, what you'll do is plug in and like kill a load of people with all their own security systems and then stroll in through the door.
Yeah.
That sort of class system will be flexible as you play, so you might start off by playing as a sort of, you know, weapons specialist, but then move more into the kind of hacking stuff, which is that kind of Ghost in the Shell type thing, isn't it? Yeah, the idea that literally everyone can be hacked because everyone's so sort of cybernetically enhanced.
So just cover that up.
Yeah, exactly. Just put your hand over it.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Is it not going to be RFID and stuff by that point? Is it all going to be contactless, like an Oyster card, like a credit card?
That's why I quite like this, because it's a sort of 80s vision of the future. Right, so this isn't actually what they think the future will look like, although it's very dirty, which I think, I'm prepared to believe the future will be dirty, but everything's a bit more analog as well.
Yeah,
And like
true.
the car looks like a kind of 80s sports car,
Yeah.
and you know, the music is kind of synthy and all that kind of stuff.
Right, so it's like a different technological future than like a very white, clean, Apple aesthetic future.
Yeah, so I kind of like that as a kind of hard left turn in that regard, and the car looks awesome. I mean, it's so badass. I guess I wasn't expecting it to be quite so sort of GTA. And you know, during that period where you're driving to another mission, there is like a car chase sort of explodes around you and stuff, which is again like sort of impressive.
This does not look good. Puta madre!
Grab the wheel, Jack!
It's very much just, I think, not really the game a lot of people were expecting. Do you know what I mean? I think they were expecting more.
The Witcher.
Yeah, more like The Witcher.
Yes.
And while it still has that level of quality in terms of the animation and the writing and the sort of sense of place and time, it really does look like quite a fun FPS, for example.
Yes.
With quite fun sort of GTA-style mechanics and a sort of big open world city as well.
Got it.
Another thing they've said is that it's an adult game, and as far as I can tell, that means it contains swearing and boobs.
Sandra Dorsett, NC 570442. Got a winner. Or she will be if we can get her to a hospital.
That's pretty much.
And themes, I'm sure.
Mainly swearing and boobs.
Spots.
Yes, there's a man's butt.
And drugs, future drugs, I
Yeah,
expect.
I suppose.
Neuro-enhancing,
They're like, it's a
cyber,
gritty, mature
feature
story, and it's just
drugs.
everyone's shouting the C word.
Talking about somebody else, Jack. You cleaner than a at a combat.
The character you're rescuing at the beginning is like a very wealthy person, so they've got this kind of medical insurance where literally a sort of SWAT team comes in and like evacs you.
I said step back. QT-133 to control. Patient NC 570442 secured.
And you're like, can I have a lift please? And they're like, nope.
Hey, give us a lift out of here. No problem.
That's the medical insurance I want.
Yeah, the one where no one else
When I
gets a
twist
lift.
my ankle and then a helicopter comes.
Yeah, just so dense. Like the environment and the kind of apartment is like really like detailed in a very microscopic way, and then the city's detailed in a huge sort of vast scale kind of way. And like I said, it's sort of like how I felt with GTA 5 when I'm watching the level of detail on the things. I'm like, man, it just doesn't feel. It feels like a step up beyond other games, you know, those games that are like 2-3 years development and,
Yeah.
and then they're in a box. So yeah, astonishing.
There. Let's take a closer look.
I think what remains to be seen is the amount of actual choice you'll have, and I think this is something. So obviously this demo was shown at E3.
Yes.
You guys saw it there.
Yes.
I saw it at Gamescom, and then we've had it published as well. And there have been sort of subtle differences, but I did see a games journalist pointing out that at the end of the bit where you get the spider bot and you've negotiated with the gang and
Yes.
stuff, in one of the demos you could choose to turn around and just like, you know, blow them away and steal your credits back.
We'll pay for the bot and be on our way.
How much you say you had? 50K?
Creds on this.
Move it.
But I saw a journalist saying that actually in the demo they saw, as you walked away, one of them insulted you and it turned into a firefight anyway.
Whew, not the smoothest of deals, but it worked out in the end, right? Flathead's good gear. It'll do the trick. Whatever that trick is. Shit. Shit, shit, shit!
So maybe it was more the illusion of choice, you know, a bit like how Mass Effect really, it feels like you've got a lot of choice, but actually if you go back and replay it,
Yeah, but the trick with that is that it's a build that's meant to be a demo, and clearly a demo that's meant to be played a certain way that they've decided is like the exciting path through the demo to show games journalists. And if you're making this like extremely narrow, extremely detailed vertical slice to show off to the press, maybe you don't create a load of branching paths. Because that would be wasted effort if you decided this is the path we want to follow. So it may not even reflect the game itself, regardless of how linear or potentially branching that demo is. It's sort of irrelevant to how the game is eventually going to turn out.
It is difficult, and that is a balance they sort of have to strike when they're making the game as well. They're like, how much effort do we want to put into content that 50% of players aren't going to see? But I guess with The Witcher, they have been pretty good about that in the past. Like, there's a lot of side quests and things that you...
Side quests are not quite the same thing
No,
as like
it's
a
not. Choices
story
within a
with
single
meaning.
quest, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's all meaningful choices. But there are multiple endings, for instance, in The Witcher, and I would expect no less from
absolutely.
Cyberpunk.
V!
I can release.
How'd it play out with Dex?
It's all here.
All right, I'll check it out while I wait for you.
But yeah, given how detailed that game world is, you may not necessarily want to be creating so very, very, very much more of it for people to not see if
Yeah,
they don't
absolutely.
follow
Yeah,
that
yeah.
path. But there are ways and means. There are clever ways to let people make meaningful choices, but still serve up a lot of the same places.
Yeah, I think
and
the
materials.
The point that the developers made was, well, we've got this really cool boss fight, and you don't see it if you never fight those guys. But part of me's like, well, that's cool. I don't mind missing stuff. What I really like is when I'm playing a game and you're probably playing Cyberpunk and Andy will be playing Cyberpunk because everyone will be playing Cyberpunk, and I go, oh man, it was really good when I did this, and everyone else is just like, what? That never happened to me. And that's the bit where you're like, it doesn't matter whether you saw it or didn't see it yourself, it's the magic of knowing that it could have happened but didn't. That kind of water cooler stuff.
It's good for us. I don't mind missing stuff if it feels like I have the luxury of picking my way through a game world. But then there's some game artist somewhere that's like, you never
missed
saw
my boss."
my masterpiece.
It was a cool
Tough
boss.
for them, I'm
It's a
saying.
dude with a
Yeah.
big shield and all sorts of stuff.
Well, maybe in the way I pick a path through the game, I have a friendly handshake, and then we have a cup of tea, and that's my path through the game.
About goddamn time. Let's get out of here.
Oh, absolutely, and I hope this is the case. I absolutely love games where I can just talk my way out of all sorts of things, and like.
Yes, that's what I want to know. I want to know what the persuasion mechanic
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like.
You peruse and choose while I scan. See what's going on inside.
I want to know if I can have cybernetic pheromone implants like in Deus Ex, and then sweet talk my way out of trouble.
We really ought to work together more often.
This is a weird thing that I've noticed since the Cyberpunk demo came out, and it is hugely, hugely impressive. But I've seen a lot of people ragging on Deus Ex, A Human Revolution and Mankind
What?
Divided.
Why?
And they're like,
How?
oh yeah, look, this is what Deus Ex should have been. I'm like, Deus Ex was still really good. Like, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, not a lot of people played it, I don't think, which is why we'll probably never see another Deus Ex.
Boo.
But it was really good, and it had a really detailed, it was a different kind of like futuristic dystopian
Yeah.
world. But it had choices, it had implants and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's somewhat cruel.
Yeah.
And also, I guess it somewhat shows that Cyberpunk 2077, in this pristine, very presented demo form, is so exciting and so good looking that everything else does pale a little bit.
Yeah.
By comparison, even if it is good.
The state of the art has moved on, right? A little bit.
It's
but
many years later, and again, we're talking about this jewel of a gameplay demo that's been presented, So it's a long way off. We don't even have a release date.
Yeah,
Who
it
knows
is.
what the final product is going to look like? They may make decisions that take it away from that even.
Yeah.
It's not a question of they promised this or that. They still have plenty of design decisions to make, and
I think it's
change their mind.
one of the things they've said, and I think it feels like they've played it perfectly. It feels like they've hyped this up so well because they've gone, oh, we're going to show it to a few people at E3, but you're not going to get to see any of it. And we're going to show it to a few people at Gamescom, but you're not going to get to see any of it. And then they're like, ha-ha! All 48 minutes in a live Twitch stream that hundreds of thousands of people are playing.
It's
And
that thing you've been hearing about.
Yeah.
Now you can watch it for yourself.
He's moving!
Right,
Yeah.
and that feels like masterful sort of PR, and it probably
smart.
is. But what they've been saying was, we weren't sure whether to release it because the game's still so far out, and like you said, it's going to change, and this is representative of how it is right now, but it might not be
Yeah.
how it is in the future. And they don't want that thing like with Dark Souls 2, where everyone looked at it after the fact and went, this is a totally different game from the one you showed.
As an audience, we can be quite harsh
Yeah,
if we feel like we've been
robbed of something awesome.
Yeah, and it's not even a case of promises made or deception. It's that a game that is still years out will undergo a lot of changes.
Yeah, and that's just the nature of game development.
Yeah, and they wouldn't be the first developer to have people at their door saying, you promised us such and such. That was in the E3 2018 demo and whatnot. So it's quite brave.
But if this is anything like what eventually comes out, I don't mind if it changes.
Yeah.
If that's the declaration of intent, statement of intent,
Yes, if it's a mood
I'm
piece.
fully on board.
That's exactly,
I'm
declaration of
ready to take more bits of
Sign
cheap
us up.
peripherals to
give us the
myself.
implants.
Yeah. And one little quite cool thing is that William Gibson, godfather of Cyberpunk,
Yes, Mr. Neuromancer.
Mr. Neuromancer indeed, has given it the nod on Twitter because he
really?
yeah, he initially
He's like, yes.
he really is like that.
Well
Yeah,
done.
because initially he was looking at the sort of concept art and the kind of screenshots, and he was like, it all looks a bit clean to me. And then he's watched this.
And they're like, throw mud on
more
it.
garbage,
Rust.
more garbage.
Yes.
And
Grubbiness.
he was like, no,
Make it
this
grungy.
looks about right. So
Good,
it's
good.
kind of cool, the idea of him actually playing that game and sort of...
That's how young Cyberpunk is as a
Yeah,
genre. It is just fantastically young. It's like a sci-fi subgenre.
The guy who basically invented it is
on Twitter
on
saying,
Twitter.
yeah, you got it. Well done.
And I think for me, it's like Cyberpunk films, great. Cyberpunk books, amazing. But the opportunity to kind of inhabit that world and kind of live in it, like I feel like it's almost the best format for a Cyberpunk universe is a video game where it's interactive and explorable. And
That's
it's
true.
Closest to the Cyberpunk fiction ideal of living in a different world and.
Is it an ideal?
Well, I suppose not. It's the dystopia.
A vision, shall we say?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Need to get to know this city, Jack. Not just gun in hand. I'm on a crusade.
Amen, I know.
Have you seen my USB sticks? Because I usually keep them in this box, but it's empty and I need them because they've got all the footage I need to edit with for the rest of the...
Weird. Did you see that Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay demo?
I did, yes.
What did you think?
I thought that it gave me an idea.
An idea for what?
For your challenge of the week,
Oh,
Mike.
God.
Yeah.
Of course it did.
It might take you a while to adjust, but first time's rarely the charm with anything, really. Scanner should eventually sync with your thought processes and read your intentions.
Well, here we are back on the sofa.
Yes.
Mike, and you've been giving it a lot of talk about how much you know about Cyberpunk, haven't you?
Everything. I know.
Around the office.
Downloaded it all into my brain
Walking up
box.
to people and showing them your USB fingers. And they're like, please leave me alone, you don't
Please
even
take
work
those
here.
off.
This isn't your office. How did you get in? Sci-fi author
Cyberpunk.
Bruce Sterling described the genre of cyberpunk as a combination of high tech and low life.
Or
which is-
cyber and punk.
I mean, yes, also that. But how well do you know the science fiction subgenre of cyberpunk in its various book, film, and video game forms?
Well, I've read Neuromancer.
All right, show off. Let's find out in the Cyberpunk Cyber Quiz. If you can answer more than half the questions right,
Sounds doable.
Cyber questions.
Cyber questions.
Yeah, correctly. You
Cyber
will
correctly.
receive 1 cyber point, but the scoring system is very complicated, just so that you know. So it could, maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. Mike, round 1.
Go on.
Noirish sci-fi classic Blade Runner is cyberpunky as heck and poses the 2 crucial questions of our time. Namely, what does it really mean to be human? And 2, has anyone ever looked cooler than vintage Harrison Ford?
I don't think so. No.
Yes,
Is
that's
that
right.
a point?
That's not. No, that's not the question. It's just the questions posed by Blade
It is
Runner,
a
not the
question.
questions posed by me.
Okay, fine.
Its aesthetic and thematic impact has continued to resonate down the ages, by which we mean people are still ripping it off 36 years later. Mike, I'm going to show you screenshots from games that have paid loving homage to Blade Runner,
That's very generous of you.
and I want you to tell me the name of the game.
Go on. Man, it's an awful FMV game.
Sure is.
Don't get a point for that though, do I?
Ooh.
It's not Ripper, is it?
Mike, I can tell you
Is it wrong?
that it is not Ripper.
Damn it.
I'm afraid
It's not the Johnny Mnemonic FMV game, is it?
it's Tesla Effect, a Tex Murphy adventure.
Max, you gotta hold it together. You gotta tell me where the egg is. I'm trying.
So,
Tesla Effect.
Mike, can you tell me what the game this is?
Oh, it's Gemini Rue.
Correct.
Very
It is
good.
Gemini Rue.
Point
Well
and
done.
click adventure by Wad Jedi Games.
He's trying to change who he is, something that I couldn't do. If I can help him do that, then maybe I can live with myself.
Which I very much enjoyed until I got very stuck.
The next game I want you to identify, Mike, is this.
Is that the actual Blade Runner game?
Correct. It is the Blade Runner game,
Which had branching storylines. I
which
believe.
did, and was actually really good, although it is unplayable now.
Not because it's bad, but because it's really difficult to get it to run on modern machines.
Correct.
What do you know? About 30 counts of animal murder and 1 of aggravated assault. The shop's been thrashed.
Next one. Mike, what game is this?
Snatcher.
Correct. Who
Kojima.
developed that?
Hideo Kojima, right?
Yep.
By the way, I understand you're suffering from amnesia. Any sign yet that your memory's coming back?
I'm afraid not. I still can't remember a thing from before the army picked me up 3 years ago.
And it is
It's
basically
exactly Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. Well, you've already got your point, but for the final one, Mike, what game is this?
It's got Rutger Hauer. It is. We played this game. Observer?
Yes! How the hell did you
Yes.
remember that? It's Observer.
My name is Daniel Lozano. observer.
Nice, well done. So that's a point for section 1.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Okay.
Thanks.
Round 2. Let me remind you now of another classic sci-fi movie that leans heavily on cyberpunk tradition, starring Keanu Reeves as a man out of his depth in a nightmarish techno-future.
Johnny
And that film is...
Mnemonic.
No, it's obviously The Matrix.
Oh.
No, it is. Yes. Based on the short story of the same name by cyberpunk pioneer William Gibson and set in the year 2021, Johnny Mnemonic stars Keanu Reeves as a titular data courier with a high-tech data storage system implanted in his head for smuggling secrets. The question, Mike, is what capacity is the storage system in Keanu Reeves' head? 8 megabytes, 8 gigabytes, 80 gigabytes, or 800 gigabytes?
800 gigabytes would have been like more data than it was possible to conceive of in 1998 when that movie came out. I think that's too much. I think it's 8 gigabytes. I think that's a good, safe amount of data to be in Keanu's head before it would explode.
Interesting. Well, Mike, I can tell you it's actually 80 gigabytes is the capacity of Johnny Mnemonic's head.
What?
Your storage capacity? I can carry nearly 80 gigs of data in my head.
Think of all the MP3s you could download.
Yeah, that's like 6 MP3s. And that's like
all Backstreet Boys as well.
Yeah, 10 gig per Backstreet Boys song. I've got the video as well.
Yeah, of course. With the dance.
Yeah, so that's all.
Glad we solved that.
Mike, in the pen and paper RPG on which upcoming video game Cyberpunk 2077 is based,
yes,
character classes are known as roles.
Okay.
The main rulebook contains 9 such roles. Some are more obvious than others. For 1 point, describe with adequate accuracy the nature of at least 6 of these 9 roles. Role 1, cop.
They are a police officer, I guess, working within a sort of either the sort of state law enforcement, or maybe like a corporate kind of security type person as well, because you know the whole thing about Cyberpunk is that like massive corporations run everything. So maybe the police have been privatized. So maybe you'd be working for a big corporation as well.
Cool. Well, I'm going to accept that. The answer in the actual description is maximum lawmen on mean 21st century streets. Special ability, authority.
Wow.
All right.
It's like Judge Dredd, right?
All right. Role, corporate.
Okay, so yeah, these are the guys who are like the tools or agents of the huge corporations that run pretty much everything in cyberpunk fiction.
Slick business raiders and multimillionaires, special ability resources. So yeah,
there you go.
All right.
Throwing money at the problem.
Okay, number 3, fixer.
I guess this person would probably be more to do with the kind of mechanical side of cybernetic implants and stuff. So like, and maybe a sort of surgeon who could get you some like upgrades and stuff if that's what you're after.
Fixer here is in the sense of being a deal maker or smuggler.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Organisers and information brokers. And their special ability is street deal. Media.
Well, I guess in like cyberpunk fiction, the mass media is sort of all-consuming and stuff's projected on the side of buildings and broadcast directly into people's dreams and all that kind of stuff. So I suppose it would be someone who is able to manipulate that stuff to their own ends, you know, maybe even affect society as a whole rather than just their sort of immediate surroundings.
Yeah, okay. Newsmen and reporters who go to the wall for the truth.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Right, netrunner.
Okay, netrunners are the people who basically live on the internet. And I think there's probably a fair few of those around at the moment, actually. Basically, they spend all their time plugged into the net and they are just like elite hackers who live on the information superhighway.
Don't ever do that again.
They surf the web.
That's just as bad. They are cybernetic computer hackers and their ability is interface, so good.
Yeah.
Nomad.
Oh, are these people who shun all technology and are kind of, you know, they don't really want to interact with the sort of tech side of things?
No, I'm not going to give you that. They're like road warriors who roam the highways. So,
sick.
Yeah, that probably would be your...
I don't mind getting that wrong. That sounds way better than what I
That would be your
just
class,
said.
I think, the nomad. All right, next one, Rockaboy.
I mean, I assume they're just sort of like 50s rockabilly dudes, but with cybernetic implants.
Yeah, they are rebel rockers who use music and revolt to fight authority, and their special ability is charismatic leadership.
Sounds like your bag.
Yeah, that's definitely my class. Solo.
I'm just buttering up the host.
Solo is the next role.
Oh, just Han Solo cosplay?
Yeah. No.
Well, I mean, it implies a sort of lone wolf who doesn't like to work with others. But I guess, again, like, it maybe sounds like they sort of don't like to get too involved with the kind of technological augmentation. It's basically the boring class for people who don't like the actual cybernetic stuff. Wrong again.
Yeah, they're the hired assassins, bodyguards, killers, and soldiers, and their special ability is combat sense, so it's a really combat-oriented.
Okay.
Class.
I'm prepared to believe that.
Okay.
Pick a better name though. Call yourself the combat guys.
Next role is techie.
Right, this has got to be the guys who are like mechanical,
Yeah.
fixing people's arms,
Yeah.
and plugging new bits into people.
They are renegade mechanics, and their special ability is jury rig. And finally, med tech.
Well, medtech guys appear in the Cyberpunk demo, right? And they're, yeah, I guess sort of private medical people, probably with more weapons than that would imply.
Yep, street doctors, and their
Nice.
special ability is med tech.
Right.
So well done.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, that's 7 out of 9. So you get a point.
Yes.
So you have 2
7 of 9,
possible.
also a cyborg off of that Star Trek.
The final round renders all other rounds pointless.
You did say it was complex.
So the final test, Mike,
Okay.
the BFI, the British Film Institute,
Yes.
On their website, bfi.org.uk, they have an online Voight-Kampf test.
Oh
You
my
can find
God.
out if you are a replicant or not.
Oh
So,
gosh,
Mike,
okay.
We're
All
going
right.
to take the Voight-Kampf test now.
Go on.
We're going to find out once and for all whether you're a robot. Sit down, you are. That's good. Reaction time is a factor in this, so please pay attention.
Okay, right.
You're watching TV. Suddenly you realise there's a wasp crawling on your arm. You swat, squash, savour, or trap.
Gosh, I'd probably swat it away. I don't really want to mash it onto my arm. I'm not going to savour it. I've been stung by a wasp recently. It was horrible. And trapping it, I mean, you're just going to trap it on your arm, aren't you?
All right, swat it is.
You're going to do that after every single answer.
Mike, you pass a homeless person. Cold night, big city. You fumble for change, but a £10 note drops in their lap. You leave it, swap it for small change, say it was deliberate, double it.
I love the idea of double it. What do you think, I'm made of money? I'd just leave it. I'd be far too awkward and embarrassed to do anything else, really, to be honest.
You'd leave it, but you wouldn't say it was deliberate.
No, I wouldn't be like, I definitely wanted to do that. Enjoy that, mate.
All right. You're going to leave it.
Yes.
Okay.
What's with the looks?
Now and then, Mike, you contemplate life alone. It is independent, inconceivable, insulting, intriguing.
I suppose it would be quite insulting if literally no one wanted to hang out with me. So I'm going to go with
Okay.
insulting. I'd be furious. That was an extra bad one. I'm clearly a replicant.
You see a friend who has suffered bereavement. Afterwards, you feel annoyed at their lack of engagement, powerless to help, saddened, bored.
Let's go with saddened, I think, probably.
Okay. Mike, you are 21% likely to be a replicant.
Oh, that's not too bad. 1 in 5 chance.
You think, therefore, you are poetic, but do you really understand it?
No.
Those memories could be implanted. They taunt. Painful to live in fear, isn't it? That's what the BFI
There we go. Well,
About
I
you?
had no idea. I think they're working outside their remit, really, as the British Film Institute.
I think below 50% is a good score, so I'm going to give you a point for being human. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you feel about your knowledge of Cyberpunk?
I feel like I should upload myself to the internet for future generations to learn from.
How do you feel about confirmation that you are a human?
Intrigued.
Now it's time to see what's written in the YouTube comments and in the response to my online petition for someone to make a 4th Streets of Rage game.
Oh, they're making a 4th Streets of Rage game.
What? Man, that was some petition.
Well, now that's sorted, let's start with the comments on this video, all about your least favourite dirty, rotten, cheating bosses who didn't fight fair.
Nitrous is already at an advantage thanks to his perfect stats for speed, acceleration and turning, and also has infinite weapons, including the weapons of all the other bosses. Despite all this, he still decides that you can never have too many advantages, and so, in the final race against him, he sets off before the light turns green. The nerve! Memories rushing back for commenter BlueCore77, who says, I remember Oxide, the cause of my many broken PS1 controllers. Good times, good times.
I don't know, kind of sounds like bad times.
Not for controller salespeople.
True. And there are more cheaty boss suggestions in the comments, such as this from commenter Patrick Long, who says, Pokemon trainers who use full restores. Solving my problems with money is my tactic, damn it.
A good tactic to be sure, but not as good as the one suggested by commenter Max Littlewood, who says, Kai Leng from Mass Effect 3 had the most cunning tactic of all, defeating you in cutscenes. Hey!
Man, I hate when that happens. Someone should probably make a video about all those times when your otherwise competent character turns into a total idiot during cutscenes.
Moving on, here are your comments on this video in which Mike and Ellen played the chaotic and explosive upcoming open world shooter, Rage 2.
I think you should use a special ability. Oh, okay. Oh!
Sorry, that was quite childish.
Everyone is just so happy for you, Mike, such as commenter Roger Frawley, who says, literally 2 seconds in the video and I can already tell Mike is on the controls.
Hey, developers often say that they have like an ideal player in mind when they're developing a game, and it just so happens that this time, it was me.
Oh, I do have a sneak one. Okay. Like this?
Yeah. Oh!
Well, there they go.
There they go.
In response to that, commenter King of the Bottleshooters says, Mike playing Hitman. This game needs explosions. Mike playing Rage 2, armed to the teeth with machine guns, shotguns, grenades, and superpowers. I'm going to try stealth.
It'll be the last thing they expect.
Or experience. Finally, commenter David Witheridge notes, I just keep being given weapons. It's brilliant. It's like Christmas. What's going on at the Channel household on Christmas?
Wait, what do you get at Christmas?
Presents.
Weird. So what blows up the Christmas tree?
Yeah, remind me not to come to your house for Christmas.
Finally this week, your comments on last week's show, which, if you'd forgotten, was all about what to expect from Life is Strange 2. In that episode, we also tasked Andy with setting a new high score in heartbreaking, emotionally resonant minigame Hot Dog Man Mustard Party 2.
Not that I'm a teenager anymore. I have no idea how teenagers speak, but I know how they don't speak. And when someone writes like awkward, ham-fisted teenage dialogue, it's literally the worst thing.
Yeah. Some may have taken issue with Jane's comments on Life is Strange dialogue, but commenter Aster Servos is here to reassure, saying, for your consideration, Jane, I am a teenager for another year, and I talk in awkward, ham-fisted dialogue.
Fair enough.
The show also featured my doomed efforts to be cast in the Netflix Witcher series.
Quickly, Geralt, there's a cockatrice menacing the village.
Not now, Yennefer. I have to go do a ton of forward rolls, use the Igni sign to see what I can set fire to, then go hit on everyone in the tavern.
To that, commenter Beth Bloomer says, it's alright, Andy. Wait a few years and I'm sure you'll get cast in The Witcher, but with Jane Douglas.
That would explain why she's been carrying those 2 swords around lately.
I do hope that's the reason.
Life is Strange 2 is the sequel to Life is Strange 1.
Yes.
Which is coming out. Episode 1 is coming out September the 27th.
Wow, soon.
So, well, soonish. Not soon enough,
well,
I'm going to say.
Sooner than Red Dead Redemption 2.
Finally, commenter Matt D, meanwhile, thinks that Andy needs to drop a penny in the Red Dead Redemption 2 jar. That jar's going to be pretty heavy now.
It sure has. Why is there no money in this jar?
I guess you haven't been mentioning Red Dead Redemption 2 much recently. Anyway, I need to go back to the studio right now.
Are you going to drive the 10 feet back to the studio? Hang on, is that a Pagani Zonda supercar?
I can't hear you!
Well, that's it for another episode of Show of the Week. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for joining us. Before you go though, why don't you hit the bell icon next to our subscription button down there, and you'll be notified every time we upload a video. And also bonus, you'll be protected from bell spiders.
Yeah, don't want to mess with those, what were they
Bell
again?
spiders.
Right, sounds like they've got a nasty bite.
They do.
Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time. So what, are they like shaped like a bell, or do they sound like a bell? Or...
No, Mike, I made them up.
We're still rolling.
I know. Okay, good job. How about some lunch? I was gonna order online, get something for
Jane,
delivery.
thanks to my technological future brain, I can interface directly with the internet and think my order into existence.
Did you tape an iPhone to your face?
Yes, and it's getting quite heavy actually.